I don't know if everybody knows me, but my name is Terry Niemeyer. I've been in here for, at least a year and a half or something like that, or maybe even longer than that, but it's like I have a hard time remembering names.
About 3 years, brother.
Oh, 3 years? Okay, he knows. Okay. But basically, I would just say, when I was young, something happened, and my mom and my dad basically, when I was in like the 5th grade, I went to to the school, and basically that was the last time I saw my dad until I was grown up and married. And it was like, that really affects people a lot. It really does. So really, one of my saviors at that time was in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. And basically, so I thought I was in a Christian church. It said Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ on it. All right. It said it, and we went through all the, the things there, but it didn't really talk about that. It talked about we went camping and all that other kind of stuff, And I really needed that also. So it was great. But the one thing is we got to go to Colorado. I mean, if you lived in Amarillo, Texas, to go to Colorado is a big, and you were born.
Area to Colorado to live.
Yeah, so I love going up there and everything like that, And we learned a lot of different stuff. And later on in life, after I got married, one of the first things we started doing was camping with our kids. I mean, me and my wife, and then, you had kids and everything like that. And you got all kinds of stories, man. There was one time that we should all died. Or everybody in my family should have died, because we were driving up somewhere in California and pulled off on the side of the road and wanted to run out there and see everything. But for some reason, it went back down like that. So the band, my wife was kind of yelling at me, and praise the Lord for a Ford. For those old Ford, they used to have the pull-up brake, not the kind of brake that they got nowadays. They had the pull-up brake, and that was the only thing that I guess the Lord used to save our lives, because they would have went down. And basically, so I can just tell you story after story about our camping and stuff like that. But I'll tell you one that was really interesting, because we'd go with these other families. And if you go camping, the family you go with and stuff like that. And it's interesting because today, all of their kids are basically successful, but some of them even left their success and went back to be a principal of a Christian school. One guy worked for whatever it is, the Air Force industry up in Seattle, and basically he went down, and and then the other one was in GM and all, and they were engineers and stuff like that. These are kids that my kids messed around with and stuff like that. And one of the things that kids back then did, man, they went out and they kind of made bombs. So some of my friends, in fact, one of your guys here that's at Bob Jones University is one of them that my kids knew, and they brought home blowguns, shooting blowguns around the house and stuff, all kinds of stuff. It's kind of weird, but I can't quite remember all that. But let's
share your testimony how you got saved, okay?
Okay, all right. How did I get saved? Well, okay, Boy Scouts, all of this, it was all kind of leading that way. It was, because we were going and having all those ceremonies and all that other kind of stuff. But later on, I basically, even when I went in the Air Force, I basically thought I was a Christian because of the Scouts and all of this other stuff. All right? But because even at that time when I was going through not the basic training, but after the basic training, and I was at Chanute Air Force Base for 9.5 months. And when I was there, I knew, I did all of these things, at the Air Force and stuff like that. But the thing is I thought I was a Christian. I thought I'd sometime in my life turn my life over to Christ, but I never did I didn't turn my life over to Christ. I liked Him and stuff like that. And it was like one day, even though I thought I was a believer, in fact, I was going around with guys all that time, and thought we were believers and stuff like that, that it was like the Holy Spirit told me and said, Terry, you're a real good guy. You seem to know a lot of the words and all that, but you're not real. You're not real. And when I heard that, and this was, where was this? This was in Fairfield, California. And basically, well, I already went through a church that I saw where they chopped up the pastor and spit him up. So I almost said, man, forget that. I don't want anything to do with that. That was a Southern Baptist church. And I was going to this one, and I was trying to live for the Lord, but it was like the Lord said, you're not real, Terry. And that's all He had to tell me one time. He says, you got all the words, you know a lot of verses, you know a lot of this stuff, but you're not real. And that was at Easter time. And basically, as soon as He said that, when the invitation came, I couldn't wait till the invitation came because I was going to go up there. And because when He said that, and I went up there, and Jim Work went up there with me, and he was a captain, one of the captains on one of the nuclear subs, and basically, he prayed with me, and he didn't really have to pray with me. I was praying, but he was right up there with me, and I got saved. And when I got saved, man, it was like it changed my entire life. I threw a bunch of junk away that I shouldn't have had. Threw away a lot of stuff. It was like the book burning in the Bible time, where you said, nope, this is going, and all of this. But you went back. And first you went to these things, and it was almost like I guess kind of like a Woodstock or something like that, and go, hey, no, I'm not supposed to be here at this kind of thing. No, I'm leaving this place. And so that's, the Lord just started working. But when I got saved, the first thing He did, he said, what do you want to do? And it says, Terry, we want you to take this bus. And I go, okay. I took this bus as a bus driver. And then basically the Lord, like less than a month passed, the Lord gave me a bus driver. So I could be a bus captain now. I didn't have to be a bus driver. And I went with Brother Shepherd to go visit the family, and I talked to the kids, and Shepherd talked to man, mine's slipping, but basically, it'll come back to me in a minute. But
Try and wrap it up in a minute, brother. You've had about 10 minutes so far.
Okay, all right. But the thing is, okay, basically became my bus driver. And then his kids were the ones that really worked hard and stuff like that. They became sheriffs, all right. And basically, from that bus driver, went into children's church, or taught basically about missionaries. Got to meet a missionary that was from Russia, and this missionary. I want to say this one thing about this missionary. Basically, he was coming to our church. I think his name was Popov or something like that. I'd read the whole entire story on him, and I was dramatizing it to the kids, and he was going to be there that week. So maybe a lot of people didn't understand what really was going on, but at that time, these people over there knew how to put a person to the point of where you could starve to death. Because if you go to a certain point, your body will start eating itself, and you can't turn around if you feed them after that. They'll die. That's how good they were. They bring you right to that point and they pull you back. And he was right at that point. This one guy was, and they were out there manicuring the lawn, and basically the guy got down to reach and grab the grass. And he says, "Don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it." He picked it up and ate it, and the guy walked, the soldier came behind him, blew his head, shot him right in the back of the head and killed him. And basically, and I was telling these kids this story, but basically, I went to children's church, okay. I taught 4th, 5th, and 6th grade for a bunch of years. I was in the bus ministry a bunch of years. And then later on, I went in the apprenticeship program and everything. And then I got to witness to people there. And one of the guys I got to witness to, I want to say this also. I said, "You need to talk to my preacher." And he goes, "No, I see things like rose-colored glasses, whatever that is." And it was like...
You make your last statements, brother.
Okay, I just want to tell you this, that I was trying to witness to this guy, and then I was, trying to witness to him, talk to him and everything, and trying to bring him around saying, "You talk to my preacher." And basically, that night, I went home, and I went looking for him one time more at Alameda Naval Air Station, because we was in an apprenticeship class. And then I couldn't find him. It says, "Find him and tell him one more time." I could not find him. So I went home. I came back the next morning, and they said, "Did you hear what happened?" And I go, "No, what?" And he said, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but the thing is, he said, as far as we know, he went back in the screen room, and there's nobody in there, and he took his own life. He took his own life.